Our next speaker this morning is also sort of a person who's on the border between mainstream lending and alternative lending. Bartley Higgins is Director of Lending at the Brooklyn Cooperative Federal Credit Union. And as Director of Lending there, he's been there since 2005, and he's responsible, and this is where we are on that border, for both providing managing lending and business technical assistance services to credit union members. And during his tenure, Bartley has helped hundreds of businesses access financing who would otherwise face difficulties in accessing capital, maybe through the banking sources. So with his expertise as a service provider, he serves on a lot of panels like this throughout the city, and I'd like to introduce Bartley.
Well, thanks for that introduction. I thought I would just survey the room to get an idea of what the audience is, because we don't know each other yet. So can I just see a show of hands for who's a startup in the room? Okay, so it's quarter to half maybe. And who has an established business? Okay. And people in other fields, consultants, or just interested to find out more? So that's a few of you. So I'm going to sort of tailor my remarks more in the towards the startups, because that seems to be a lot of us. And so just back to where I'm coming from. Let me just give you a quick introduction of that. Brooklyn Cooperative is a federal credit union. It's a community development credit union situated in both Bushwick and Bedford-Stuyvesant, and we were founded in 2001. So we have a community development mission to serve those communities of Bushwick and Bedford-Stuyvesant, which, as many of you may know, are both severely underdeveloped and impoverished and face high unemployment, lower opportunities than in many other parts of the city. So there's a great need in those communities for jobs, for access to financial services on fair terms, and most importantly, perhaps, access for small businesses to the financial services. Because as many of you know, and as I'm sure the panel would agree, businesses face some obstacles towards getting financing, particularly startup businesses. Now, as both the panelists mentioned, startups will not get financing at banks. So what do you do if you're a startup? If you need a lot of money, say, over $50,000 to get your business off the ground, there's not a lot of options, frankly. It's tough. If you're trying to go to a bank or even to an alternative lender, why? Well, startups do have, they say a lot of startups fail. It's a fact. So it's considered a very risky enterprise. So that doesn't mean that there's not options for you. We are very active in lending to startups. And that's because in the communities that we serve, where there is not a lot of economic opportunity, people look to self-employment or micro-entrepreneurship as a means to create opportunities for themselves where they don't exist outside. So we do a lot of loans in the $10,000 to $20,000 range for people who are doing business for themselves. Maybe they're a home-based business, making something, selling it. A lot of people involved in these Mary Kay, Avon type of things, which is a sort of a means of being self-employed within a larger enterprise. A lot of people doing street vending. So we see a lot of that kind of stuff, and that's a way for people on a micro self-employment way to get involved in a sustainable enterprise that provides income to themselves. But in addition to that, we do see a lot of businesses that are going to be a restaurant, a deli, bodega, service provider of some kind, who also need that little boost to get their business off the ground. Now, nobody is going to give you a loan for 100% of the financing that you need to start a business. If you need a considerable amount of money to start a business in a storefront. So the first thing that you should know is that if you're looking to start a business, you do need to have some money to invest. You need to have some savings. If you have a home, you've got a lot, and you have equity, that's a tremendous resource that you can consider looking towards as you seek to open your own business. And especially if you need a lot of money, like a restaurant, for example, which is going to need more than likely upwards of $100,000 or $200,000 just to get all the equipment in place, the licenses and renovations. That's a way that you can do it. So when we're talking about going to the bank and what documents that do you need to present a compelling case to get a loan. Of course, all the documents that have been listed in the previous discussions, your taxes, financial statements, etc., those are important. But if you're a startup business and you don't have 3 years of business tax returns, then we're going to be looking at your business plan, which is your best estimate of what your business is capable of doing for the next, say, 2 or 3 years as you begin and grow and stabilize your business. So one of the elements that we'll be looking at, of course, is your financial statements and your projections. So it's very important that you prepare realistic and attainable projections. Now, on my side of the desk, I get a lot of people who have startups and have experience in the particular industry that they're choosing to go into, but they don't have the know-how to work in Excel or anything on the computer. They have, perhaps a lower formal education, or they don't speak English in some cases. So I don't force this on people, but the more knowledge that you can project and acquire for yourself, the more presentable you're going to be to myself and others. But more important than that, the more you're going to seize control of your business and really understand what's going into it so that you can be an effective manager. Now, we're, of course, able to help you a bit with the business plan. I think Nancy is also equipped with her organization to do that. There's also, of course, the Business Solutions Center in Brooklyn and at the Business Solutions Centers throughout the city. So there's a lot of help out there for people who don't know how to get started with that. But definitely for that, the bottom line, if you have one, is that you didn't just pull these numbers out of a website or make them up. Like you have some, you own the numbers, you understand them, you understand the assumptions upon which they're based, and more importantly, they are attainable in your business. Now, just to tie in a bit with the conference we're here for, we're in the banking field, so for us, sustainability means, can you repay the loan? That's a short-term objective, of course. When we're looking at sustainability in the broader parlance, meaning, are we going to be around on the earth in 50 years due to our current practices? So for anyone who's considering a green business or something that addresses the need for sustainability, there's an inherent contradiction perhaps in our goals, because we're looking to see if your business is sustainable, can it repay the loan, and you're looking to be sustainable and sustainable writ large. So basically for us, the bottom line is always going to be the 5 C's. It's going to be, can you repay? But I think more and more we're going to see banks, and especially alternative lenders, who have a degree of social mission as an aspect of their enterprise, as being nonprofits or community development credit unions, as we are. So there may be some opportunity to incorporate that vision into your sustainability from our end. Well, I guess I have 1 minute left, so I'm going to stop there and let Nancy take the floor. Thank you.